Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And I don't typically make videos like this, but this one is particularly egregious. So I need to go ahead and make this video and talk to you guys about one deck in particular and why you should not play it. So normally, I'm a guy who loves to talk about memes. I love to talk about fun decks. I love to talk about cool decks. I try and make good things better, and I try to make bad things at least somewhat playable. And I just have to stress that there are some decks that you cannot make work. It's genuinely like some people have success with them. Those people are, good for them. But for the most part, if you have a deck that has a core mechanic that is just either poorly thought out or is not supported or goes against the idea of the restrictions of Duel Links, it's not going to work. And those decks tend to be very low rarity and very unsupported. And that's what we're getting right here. So with Prank Kids, all of the main deck monsters are neutral rarity cards. They're really easy to collect, 3 of each one of them, and then you got 2 SRs in the box. There's no URs, and the boss monsters are rare. That should already tell you something. The deck's not going to be very good to start with, but here's the thing. There are still 2 SRs in this box, and it's a mini box. So for the people who want to play Prank Kids, they're probably going to try and go through this box 3 times, and the rest of the box is not a 3 of. Like, if you don't want to play Perform Mage or Prank Kids, this is a 1-run box very easily. And I know it's a little bit late for me to make this video. I kind of debated whether I wanted to do it anyway, but for those of you who are sitting back, waiting, trying to find out whether you should go into this box, what you should build, let me tell you, if you do not want to play Perform Mages, this is a 1-run box and that's it. Prank Kids is not a good deck. It is not. So, I'll tell you why. All of the Prank Kids monsters, Lampsies, Dropsies, and Fansies, have an effect that says if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the fusion or link summon of a Prank Kids monster, then you can activate an effect, and if that effect resolves, you get to special summon a different monster from your deck. The problem is they can't special summon themselves from the hand, and all of their monsters are Link 2s. You can see the problem. You can't make these monsters unless you happen to get 2 of them out. So unless you're playing a card like Double Summon, or if you happen to draw 2 monsters and a fusion spell, then you can make Prank Kids Rocket Ride and then start your turn that way. That's it. Then you also have the continuous spell. You can discard a Prank Kids card to special summon a token, which will allow you to link summon. So that's why this card is an SR. But that's all. You have to go. You have to get rid of basically 2 cards in your hand. 1 card for the continuous spell, 1 card for the discard, and then hope that the 3rd card in your hand, because you're already getting rid of a Prank Kids name, hope that the 3rd card in your hand is also a name. Then you can link summon to get 1 special summon because the token doesn't resolve anything. It's not good. It's not good. All you get is you get Battle Butler, who can tribute itself to destroy all monsters your opponent controls as a quick effect. That's pretty strong, but you can already do something similar with Ogdoadic, and Ogdoadic is in a much better box with a lot more 3-ofs that just came out. So if you want a quick effect Raigeki, I strongly recommend that you learn how to play Ogdoadic instead. Prank Kids is cool, the artwork is great, but it's simply not a deck that's going to be very consistent, especially considering that you only have 4 cards in your opening hand. People talk about how Prank Kids did win 1 YCS without Meow Mew just by playing, fusion spells. Okay, but you have 5 cards in your opening hand in the real game. You have 6 cards if you go second. It's not the same thing. There's not a skill here that's making up for the fact that we don't play the real game. Fusion decks and ritual decks have always had a huge disadvantage in Duel Links because they have to inherently minus themselves so much. You don't need a spell card to Exceed Summon. You don't need a spell card to Link Summon. You don't need a spell card to Synchro Summon. So fusion decks do not function nearly as well in a game where you are down a card for no reason. I really hate that aspect of Duel Links. I genuinely do. If I could change anything about Duel Links, it would be that we start with 5 cards, because the game is balanced around that. But we don't. So, if there's not a skill and there's no Meow Moo, this deck is not good. Do not build it. Do not go into the box multiple times for this deck. It's not going to work unless you really want to play Prank Kids. And if you really do, okay, fine. But if you're just curious, like I said, Ogdoadic has their own Raigeki. You know, it's a decent deck. You can build it. You can have fun with it. Reptiles are cool. They have their own skill. You know, they have synergy with Reptilianes and other reptile decks. It's a lot more fun than the Prank Kids experience. I was trying to make a video for this deck. Here's what happens. You open a hand, you got 3 names, and then like a Book of Moon or a Compulse. Because you have to run so many monsters, and all these monsters do nothing. They do nothing if you can't fuse them. So unless you open one of your 3 copies of Pranks, or one of your 3 copies of your Fusion spell, then you can't make any plays. And the problem is, if you're going to run 3 copies of the Fusion spell and 3 copies of the Pranks to try and guarantee that you draw them, you open with a bunch of spells and you can't do anything either. So that's another thing that happens, is that I open like 4 spells and I can't Fusion summon because I need at least 2 names. So this is a very inconsistent deck. It's not good. Don't play it. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.